Okay, hello and welcome to this new episode of the Flow Ninja podcast. I am here with Arif Mirza, and Arif is a serial entrepreneur, a venture capitalist, author of 11 million in 8 hours, founder of the largest family office syndicate in the Middle East, and also the largest LP in the Canadian venture capital fund called Real Ventures. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but welcome. I'm sure you've got many other accolades to your name and everything else, but this is where we can start with, Arif. So yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jody. It's just one brick at a time I built it, so very proud of where I am today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, all this success, it's huge, and we all got to start somewhere, haven't we? So
Absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
curious where you started.
Well, I started with, a lot of people can resonate with me easily. I started with absolutely nothing. When you mean nothing, meaning I had no education, no experience in business, none. I worked three jobs, pizza delivery, working for a marketing company, working for another small office, but learning as I went along. Every job that I've done in my life, I took pride in it. I was thankful for having that job. I was thankful for having the management that actually taught me everything. At the moment, it seems like, oh, this guy's coming down hard on me, blah blah blah. But in the long run, you realize that, you know what, they're teaching you to become the best of what you're supposed to do. You'll find the odd people that love to have power trips, but put them to the side. Those are life's lessons. But yes, I learned as I went along. I learned the hard way, and then I learned the smart way. And hard way also taught me a lot of things that there's no such thing as an easy ride.
Mm.
If I didn't have the hardship built into me, then when I started working smartly, it wouldn't have helped so much if I wasn't programmed into it already. There are a lot of people that have education and wealth, and they have the easy way out, but they're not able to do so because they don't have um, the attitude and the work ethics and habits of making it happen. So I believe I was lucky that I went through that hardship road, because as we know, success is not a straight road. It always has construction on it, zigzag here and there.
Mm.
This goes wrong, that goes wrong, and then people are like, oh wow, he's an overnight millionaire. No such thing. In order for a plane to take off, it has to reach a certain speed before it can take off. So we need to learn to reach how to reach that speed before we learn to fly and take off. And so I've been lucky through so many different journeys in life, learning from so many coaches and mentors and friends and family. So when I say, hey, look at me, I'm self-made, absolutely not. I'm not self-made. I've had, so many helping hands in bringing me to where I am, whether it's in family life, business life, street life, however you look at it. So many great people had, helped me build that foundation for me to put that Burj Khalifa building up as to where I am now.
Mm.
And what I do now, I believe I'm living my dream life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up when I want, work when I want, and do whatever, whenever,
Mm.
and at the same time run all these companies because I have a system. You don't have to do everything yourself.
Mm.
Hire the best, let them do it, and learn while you're teaching, learn while you're hiring. People think they know everything. No, you do not know everything. You learn every single day. You can learn from a kid, you can learn from just about anybody. You sit next to a stranger and they'll blow your mind of the knowledge that they have. And then you ask them, what do you do for a living? I'm actually looking for a job. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you're sitting next to. You can learn if as long as you're willing to. and you have an open mind.
Mm.
So that's pretty much my story. I went from nothing to building. When I stepped into e-commerce, I did my first $250,000 on a weekend. Imagine that, counting tips to make 20 pounds to $250,000 on a weekend. And then you just keep going. And then you start getting offers from biggest names in the world. Hey, we want to buy you. And, the whole new world opens up. You just need that one victory. Doesn't matter how many times you failed, how many times you lost. You just need that one victory. The last thing people remember is your last act, right? So as long as your last act is good, it doesn't matter. It wipes away the past. You could be anything. It wipes away. And then people start reaching out to you from nowhere, and they'll start telling you, I believed in you. I always believed that you are the biggest thing. I remember being on my first TV interview, and that was during 6 o'clock news. So everybody at that time in Canada would be watching the 6 o'clock news. My venture was on it. And a high school friend that I hadn't spoken to in years, I don't know how he found my number. I don't know how he got in contact, but before that thing ended, my phone rang. That's how fast people reach out to you when you are something, when you become something. Because when you're down, you got to help yourself. And those around you that really, really believe in you, they will help you. But most people, they will fly away. So my father, Allah bless his soul, he passed away. He used to say that you'll find a lot of people in your life that are seasonal birds. So they're only there for a time, they'll fly away. So as long as you're doing good, they're around you. When you're not, they're gone. But there are some, which he used to say, that's how important your family and good friends are. They will go with you till the end. And you are one of the luckiest ones who has these people. Most people don't have anybody. So I would say I'm a very lucky person to be surrounded by so many amazing, great people who made me who I am. And I'm thankful to every single one of them.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, genuinely. Yeah. And we haven't touched on this yet, but you come across to me as a humble soul and on a spiritual path as well. And I feel
Absolutely.
like that is central to who you are. So yeah, just I wanted to add that in because we talked about success and all of that. But I think absent from a lot of the conversation around success, especially sort of financial success, is the inner realm and the consciousness realm, and what the why, why am I here, what is it all about, and having morals and strong beliefs and values. And so yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, if there's something you'd like to share around your kind of value system.
Absolutely. Actually, you say humbleness, and I think I became more humble when I became more spiritually connected with the Creator, because I've seen in life ups and downs that most people may not, and I hope not, they experience. So you're here, then you drop, then you come back up, and you drop again. I've learned all that, but I'm a Muslim. For those who are watching, I believe in one Creator, and He designs this life for you. He has abundance of wealth out there for you. It's up for you to go and get it. But what He loves is humbleness. Don't be boastful. Don't be boastful. Oh, I'm better than you. As soon as you start thinking I'm better than you, you're nothing. You're nobody. There are so many people out there. Doesn't matter what industry that we look at, or what part of life we look at. There are so many people better than you, like a lot better than you. If you look at martial arts, for example, and you think you know how to box, well, there are people out there that'll knock you out in seconds. You look at jiu-jitsu, they'll submit you like 20 times in a minute. So, and you think you're big time. It doesn't work like that. And you think you got a couple of millions in your account, and you're like, oh, I'm this big rich dude out there. It doesn't work like that. Some people spend, 10, 20 million on a daily budget on things they don't even know. So there's always somebody better than you. So stay humble, stay calm. Like I'll give you an example. My mother used to say when I moved into Burj Khalifa and I started growing my companies, the advice my mother gave me was, she said, son, touch the sky, but keep your feet on the ground. Okay, stay humble, keep your feet on the ground, because nature has a very good way of just slipping everything underneath you. Next thing you know, oh, I lost everything. So staying humbleness is something that I learned from being connected to my faith. I pray 5 times a day, and my favorite, actually 6 times a day, because my favorite prayer is during the night when most people don't get up to pray. I get up because I thank my creator who gave me everything. And when people ask me about what are you worth, how much wealth do you have, I tell them, listen, I'm worth this much. I'm healthy. I can go out and do anything I want. My fridge is full. I'm surrounded by a family that loves me, friends that love me. I believe I'm probably one of the richest people on the planet because I have everything I want, everything that I need.
Mm.
Everything else is material life, which is important, very, very important. But everybody has a different importance in their lives. So for me, um, I'm somebody who, puts his head on the ground 6 times a day. I have to stay humble. So that's actually what helps me drive a lot further and faster than most of the people. I respect time by doing that because my life is scheduled. So because it's scheduled, I have so many things that I can fit into my schedule. And I believe it wouldn't have been like this if I didn't have my daily 6 meetings a day. Those are my spiritual meetings. So I split everything between those meetings.
Mm. So you strike me as someone who's very disciplined.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be. At the same time, I'm a big kid. I'm disciplined, but I'm a big kid. I'm a child in heart. And the things that I do, people are like, oh, this guy acts like a kid.
Mm.
And that's what I want. I want to be alive. I want to, live life as a kid. So I don't care what they say. I'm happy. So
Yeah, I hear you.
content, I'm happy. That's what it matters.
Sure. And I just wanted to circle back to this word, the Burj Khalifa, because I think some audience of this show might not know what that is or have an
Sure.
understanding. So could you explain a little bit about Burj Khalifa?
Sure. So Burj Khalifa is the #1 address of the world. It's the tallest building in the world. So if people don't know what Burj Khalifa is, you say, the tallest building in the world. You're like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen that in pictures, on videos. And when you mention Dubai, what's the first thing they see is Burj Khalifa. When you go to Dubai, what's the first thing that you do? Not the first thing, but one of the things that you do is you go and visit Dubai Mall and you see the Burj Khalifa. But most people don't know that it has 3 parts. It has commercial, residential, and pretty much. So it's got a hotel, it's got business park, and it's got residential. That's why it's split in 3. It's like almost like a triangle. It has three different entrances, and one is for the hotel, which is the Armani, and one is for residents, and the other one is for corporate entrance. So people that have offices in there, they're above certain floors, and then Armani Hotel is between certain floors. Then it's residential. Then it's certain floors of hotel again. So it's a vertical city on its own. You don't have to leave the building. Everything comes to you. So when I actually moved in there, and this was 2009, there was 15 other people living there. So it was like nobody's there. It has 3,000 parking spots. So I think your local mall might not have 3,000 parking spots. It has 52 lifts. Fastest lift in the world is in Burj Khalifa. It takes, I believe, 49 seconds to travel to 123 floors.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an amazing, amazing building. Originally, it was supposed to be 19 floors. Right. And now, and when that was presented to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, it said that you, this is the building that we're building. And he said, very simply, he said, it sounds simple, but he said, think bigger. And those simple words, think bigger, got them to create the tallest building in the world, from 19 stories to the tallest in the world. Before that, like when buildings, the tall buildings was not even a concept in the Middle East. The World Trade Center in Dubai is, I believe, is like 33 floors.
Mm-hmm.
And when people saw 33 floors 25 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, they used to swear by it that you can, from top of that building, you can see Saudi Arabia. That's how tall 33 floors are. Mm-hmm. Because people didn't have that same, they couldn't grasp it, you know? And now it's one of the shortest buildings on the strip. I'm sure you've been there so many times and you've seen it. It's one of the shortest buildings on the strip. So that's like, you start off here and you go beyond your imaginations. So that's pretty much about Burj Khalifa. It's the best address in the world. Anywhere you meet a person anywhere in the world, where do you live? It doesn't matter if you own a city. Nobody knows where your city is, but everybody knows where the tallest building in the world is. So when I arrived late at the airport, and I get into whoever's picking me up, you know, they got so many private taxis and normal taxis, and it doesn't matter who picks you up. You don't have to explain to them, take me to this sector or that sector. You just say, look up in the sky. Yeah, take me there. And it's like Batman, you know, sends out his symbol and says, take me to my house. So it's very, very easy. Don't get me wrong, people have beautiful ways of living in Dubai. They have amazing looking villas, like things you couldn't even dream of. But still, it doesn't beat the #1 address in the world. I am an owner of insane amount of real estate, like insane amount of real estate, especially land. I love buying land. All that land combined with so many amazing things on it still doesn't beat the #1 building in the world. Right? So that's Burj Khalifa.
That's crazy, isn't it? When you think about the value in that, in the perceived value, at least in terms of, you know, what, you know, the building is worth.
It sells itself. It's easy to explain. So even when you're doing something in life and people say, well, what are you into? What work, kind of work you do? And if you can explain it that easy, like, oh, I live in the tallest building in the world, and you say, this is what I do, it becomes so much easier for people to understand you. Like when I have meetings and they say, where would you like to have a meeting, your place or mine? And 99% of the time they say, my place, because people just want to come and have a view on 123rd floor, just look around. But having said that, there are so many different places in the world, amazing places. But because you said to highlight the Burj Khalifa, I wanted to highlight the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's
so that actually one single building changed the domain value, like domain sites value of Middle East. Domains in Middle East are worth more than anywhere in the world. Like you can buy a domain for like 10 pounds, $10, $3, $1, right? In UAE, domains are worth a lot more because they're .ae, not .com. And Burj Khalifa.ae is what changed the value of all the other domains. So how one thing can change others is it's amazing.
Wow. You know, what again, the kind of the overriding kind of principle I get from that is about simplicity and thinking big.
Absolutely.
And I'm always talking about this with my clients. Think big.
Absolutely.
You know, and something I've kind of cottoned onto or coined in the last year has been like, never share your big vision with small minds.
Because they can't understand it.
They can't understand it. So that like, you know, that doesn't mean don't try to inspire people, like an audience, share your vision. But like in terms of like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. I'd love to build this, and with someone who's like incredibly like narrow-minded and small-minded, they'd be like, oh no, don't do that. And it'll, crush any big
Right.
dream. So
It's funny you mentioned that because I when I started telling people that I'm building this zero waste self-sustainable city, like, are you crazy? People have a hard time getting a mortgage on a property, and you're thinking about this city that's going to have everything, like everything you can imagine, all in one city. And I used to share that with my kids, and my kids were the only ones who actually believed it. Like, Papa, we believe you can do anything. So sounds childish, but trust me, because of them, I stuck to it, and now I'm building that. And so many people, this is not possible. You'll have this issue, that issue. So I don't look at issues as problems. I look at issues as opportunities. Because if something is stopping me from doing something, I'm going to analyze what is going on over there. And that actually opens up a whole new world of opportunities. Those people that actually try to stop you end up working with you, when you present it properly. So that's like, later on, maybe we'll get into how to get funding and stuff. And people think it's so hard to get money for funding. And I believe it's one of the easiest things in the world because I know how to do it. Until you don't know how, obviously, it's very, very hard. Like learning to ride a bicycle. You get on it and you fall. You get on it and you fall. Somebody has to hold that bike for you, and they put training wheels on you. But once you learn to ride that bicycle, you don't even have to hold on to the handlebars anymore, right? You're like, having ice cream while you're riding the bike down the beach boardwalk. So that's how life is when you learn how to do things and you get better and better and better, they become easier. So like martial arts again, from learning my first armbar to choking people in a few seconds, it took time, but it became easier, right? So that's how business life is. But I believe in doing things with timeline rather than spending so much time on doing something.
sure. And this is something that in our initial conversation, it stood out to me as it was a great, for me anyway, it was a great and very simple metaphor, which was, Google Maps. You want to get to a destination, and you put it in Google Maps, and then you see there's a couple of routes, 2 or 3 routes or whatever, and this route's 42 minutes, this route's 53 minutes, this route's an hour and 10 minutes. Which route are you going to choose?
Absolutely. Yeah, whichever one works for you better. Doesn't mean it has to be the cheapest, but what route works for you that you can actually manage and which has more benefits. Sometimes the route that you choose will be the hardest and most expensive one, but it has the higher returns. And sometimes the easy ones, yeah, you'll get there, but by the time you get there, you miss the boat. How they say, you miss the ferry.
Yeah.
If we're trying to get to Jersey, you miss the ferry. Right? So
Hasn't happened yet, thank God.
Yeah, so that's how it is the faster you can learn something and properly, the better it is because it's going to save you time. Some people have a lot of time, some people have a lot of money, some people have both, and some people have none. They don't have a lot of time and they don't have a lot of money. So learning to grab things on how you understand them is the most important part. Like what I do is I always try to find a way, how can I learn something faster? And from an expert, not just anybody, but from an expert in that field. So whatever field that I'm going into, I'm going to find the best person in that field and I'm going to learn from them. So whether it's fitness, if it's fitness, I'll hire the best fitness trainer in the world that I can find and connect with. Not necessarily he's charging the most, but he has a lot of knowledge to fit my needs because everybody has different needs, different body structure, different goals. So I'll work with that. So if I'm going into business and whatever business that I want to start, obviously I'll do my research on that as much as I can. And then I will look at who is the top in that industry.
Mm.
And then I will try and connect to that person and learn from that person, whatever it takes. If I can get it for free, great. Most likely you're not going to get it, but sometimes you can. People love, you'll be surprised how many people give you at least a little bit of their time. And those few moments that they're able to give you, that can change your whole entire mindset to do things better. Like I've had people struggling in their jobs, whatever work that they do, they'll come and spend 10, 15 minutes with me, and they'll end up quitting their job and starting their own business. Like that's going to the extreme, but they end up doing really, really well. I tell people never to quit. Like again, my father told me, never let go of the bird in your hand to catch another one. Okay, keep that bird until you catch the other one. And but sometimes when you're standing at the edge of the water, you actually have to jump in to see how deep it is, because you're not going to be able to tell always standing on the side of the road, at the edge and thinking, is the water cold or deep? You'll never know until you actually get in. So there are times where you have to take that chance. You have to be willing to trust your instincts and say, you know what, I can do this. And then as you do, and best way to learn is jump in the water. And then when you realize that you can't, okay, but I'm going to defeat this. I'm going to conquer this. So you find somebody who's the best in that, and you learn from them and you conquer it. That's how you become better and better and better. Again, time, number one thing, time is everything. You can spend less time to make more money, or you can spend so much time and not make any money or not do anything because you're sitting idle, you're doing nothing.
Mm.
So discipline in life is very, very important.
Mm. And yeah, so the discipline piece, that I think that is crucial. And the more I learn, the more I know, the more I, try to be disciplined as much as possible with my time and everything else. I feel like I've got a long way to go, but I've made so much progress, made so much headway, and I feel like even just having the conversation around it helps remember, oh yeah, that's like, yeah, this piece, because then it's time is then used more productively for the things that we want to have and create and make happen in our lives. So that really resonates with me. And then yeah, issues as opportunities, obviously that's just huge in itself, because that's like, okay, let's actually have a look what's going on here when there's a problem, a crisis, and see, okay, what is the potential in this? There's an opportunity here to shift things and change. And yes, and then okay, so I feel like now could be a good moment to kind of segue into the edge here, which with a podcast such as mine, which is kind of around consciousness, well-being, etc. There is let's say in the field of personal development, on the one hand there is a kind of sense of like, it's not about the money, right? It's not about money. It's about your purpose. It's about your vision. It's about your values and beliefs. And that, has to trump everything, which of course is correct. But money does make the world go round.
No, yeah.
And money is super, super, super important. And a lot of people have issues around money, like serious blocks, serious limitations, fears, traumas, shadows. And so that prevents them from allowing themselves to make money. I should be, only a certain way and everything else. And like maybe poverty is virtue, and kind of a lot of, different ideas around maybe in the programming, conditioning and everything for the family, society, religion, could be many different things. So there's something I want to get, we want to get into here, which is like this edge around making money, because you are someone who's excelled in that field.
So one of my mentors, which I've been working with for the last almost 20 years, what I learned from him was, he said, the most expensive thing in the world is poverty. I said, what? Poverty is most expensive thing in the world? Like, how? He said, when you're poor, you can't afford anything. No medicine, no food, nothing. And even your spiritual life is very far because your focus is on survival mode. I need to go make something. I need to go earn something. And you're going into depression. So that makes it the most expensive thing in the world. So, and then there's poverty mindset, what we'll talk about later on, that people have, that they'll never invest in anything because thinking, oh, I'm going to lose it. Right. So, but that's separate. And then same time, same mentor told me that money comes from thin air. I was like, okay, I need lots of that air because I need tons and tons of that air because I want to make money. And again, yes, that's true. Money comes from thin air. Once you learn to create an opportunity for people to invest in or people to take advantage of, people will flow in like a river. Like, trust me, you'll have to hold people back saying, sorry, the show is sold out. This opportunity is gone. Wait for the next one. Right? If you can create that, and that was an idea at one point. So it does come from thin air, an idea, one single idea that can change the world pretty much. So when I learned those things, yes, things became a lot easier for me. So when I sit there and say, yes, thank God I'm spiritual, I have time, I have this. But if we flip the switch and I had nothing of that, life wouldn't be so easy for me. Right. So this is what I do is I try to help people, but believe you me, at least for me, after my connection with my creator, money is very, very high on the scale for me. Because if I didn't have it, or if I couldn't earn more, I couldn't do the things that I want to do. Right. And it took me a long time to get rid of my poverty mindset. Right. And I don't want to go back to that. Right now, I can look at the whole world as my oyster and say, okay, I can do this, I can do this. It takes time for people to get out of that situation. Like some people have the way, they don't have the will. Some people have the will, they don't have the way. And some people have both, but they're just not able to realize how to, get out of that situation. They have money there, they have time there, they have it all, but like, what do I do? How do I do it? And even though you explain it to them a few times, still they can't understand it. Some people it takes longer, and some people you just give them a glimpse and they'll be like, wow, they're able to add so many things on top of it and just get to the next level. I'll give you an example of a gym. I'm sure you're a guy who goes to the gym. You go to the gym and you see same people for like a year or 2 years, and they look exactly the same. They haven't changed. Then you see somebody comes in second week, third week, fourth week, you start to see changes in them already. What the hell is this person doing? Like, they're losing weight, they're gaining muscle, it's because they're in there with the plan. They have a proper plan on their nutrition, their exercise, and overall plan of, they have a timeline and a goal to reach. That I'm going to burn this much fat and gain this much muscle in this much time. And they're working, either they have a workout partner or they have a trainer that helps them go beyond their limits. You're benching and you're like, okay, I can only do 6 reps. But when you have somebody sitting next to you and said, go, I got you, I'm spotting you, you pull out another 6 more. And all that person did was just a little touch. But that little touch took you beyond your limitations. So this is how important it is to actually, don't be shy to ask for help. Say, you know what? Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? But don't make it a habit of, becoming a freebie everywhere. I mean, this guy likes to learn everything for,
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
or the gym example, you stack more than you can afford, and then the guy who's helping you, he's doing all the work. Nobody wants to do that either. So when people see potential in you, they will help you.
Mm.
So yeah, it's like I said, going back to it, it's easy for me to say, yes, I have this perfect life, but how long did it take me to get here?
Mm.
Right? People don't realize that yes, it takes time. You have to put in more than what you're willing to put in to get to where you want to be. Right? Like we said, put in Google Maps, but let's say you got a flat tire and or you ran out of petrol. You gotta be able to walk and go get petrol or ask somebody to, give you a jump start. So these are things that'll happen to you in life. Um, I am one of the most expensive coaches in the world, like in the world, and I don't go out and advertise it. People come to me, they want to learn on how to start a business or how to do pretty much anything, get their things organized, life organized. But how did I get there? I got there because I invested in myself,
Mm.
right? How did I come up with my pricing on what I should be charging? Is because I paid 10 folds more. I paid 100 grand for 15 minutes of coaching. Who in the world pays that? But because I did that, what I learned from it, if I charge 25 grand for an hour, I'm still charging very little, but giving you more time. And to some people, 25 grand might seem like a lot of money, but look what I paid, 100 grand for 15 minutes. Now, which one's easier? Anyhow, so I don't believe in these YouTube coaches that are selling courses to you. Hey, buy my course. You're going to become this, you're going to become that, because how they're making money is from that little copy paste course that you're buying. That's it, which they picked up from another YouTube video. A real coach will not sell you that. They'll say, you know what? Come sit down with me. Let me learn about you before I give you something. Like when you go to a doctor, he doesn't just say, there's medicine on the counter. I don't know what you have, but just take this medicine. I don't know what's wrong with you, but just take this medicine. No, a doctor says, sit down. Let me look at the symptoms. How long have you had these symptoms? How long have you had this issue? Is it a headache? Is it more than a headache? Is it fever? Your leg hurts, your head hurts. What is it that we're trying to solve? Once we realize what it is that we're trying to solve, then we'll give you a medicine accordingly. And even proper doctors will not go to the medicine. They'll go to, I think you need a change in lifestyle rather than taking medicine. You see the difference here?
Absolutely.
So that's the difference in a proper coach, and find one that fits in your industry. Don't just go to anybody. One that fits in your industry and that can help you go along the way. Like there's so many things you could do. For example, let's say one of your viewers is watching this and they say, you know what? I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. And if we find out what that nothing means, is it money or is it mindset? Then we can help that person get to the next level. So let's say it's money. Mindset is strong. I can take just about anybody and show them how to start a business, buy an existing business, or start earning from your own capacity of the skills and knowledge that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, you said 25 grand. I have nothing. I can't give you anything. So I have another actually offer for people is where I don't charge you anything. I don't charge you anything, but I take equity in your business. Mm. I showed you how to make it. I think I deserve equity in your business. Mm. Right? This is a business that you didn't have. I showed you how to make money from it. I didn't charge you anything. I give you my time. My time is worth equity. But obviously I can't do that to volumes because that will take me away from my the life that I enjoy. I'd rather charge somebody this big amount, sit there, enjoy. But at the same time, as you learned, the kind of person that I am is, yes, I like to connect with people. I like to help people, especially people in my country, Pakistan. And I'm willing to, because I didn't have that help when I was starting off. And then that help came to me. People did give me that time. So it's not even if I don't want to, it's due upon me to do it because somebody did. It's called paying forward. Somebody helped me out. Now I feel and I believe that yes, to my capacity, whatever I can do, I should be doing that for people in need. And then what they're going to do is they're going to repeat that same thing for somebody else. So people, when people tell you, "Oh, it's not about the money. I want to help people," there's a lot of lie in that because I'm selling you a course to help people. No, you're selling a course to help yourself. Can you help somebody without? You know, if they have nothing, that means they have nothing. They can't afford your course. Help them come up. You know, when they say, "Give me a 7-day trial," and you say, "No, I can't." Well, your stuff doesn't work, right? You're not able to teach somebody. Like, look, when you go to a personal trainer, what do they tell you? Your first session is free because they know that that one session, they'll give you the value where you're like, okay, I think I want to go further and I want to pay. So, and then of course, there's a lot of time wasters. And then you tell them, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. We'll talk later.
Yeah.
You need to be able to recognize what is happening.
Discernment, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So yeah, that's how anybody that's watching, they need help, they can reach out to your platform and then they can get in touch and we'll help just about anybody at any stage. You're a nobody or you're a multi-millionaire that wants to get to the next level. I got you all because I've been in all those places. You know, if you're about to, you have a startup and you're looking for funding, you just don't know how. Yes, I can show you how. You're somebody that wants to get the biggest wealth in life, which is your health. Yes, I can help you with that because I believe that's my biggest wealth is my health. For those watching, for those that don't know, this young man is 50 years old. So.
Yeah, so about that bit, yeah, I want to go on to health in a bit. But I also wanted to comment, well, ask you, what percentage of people hearing that, what you've just shared about reach out to me, will actually reach out?
A lot of people will look at it and say, yes, I want that. And there's a lot of us who do that, but there will be very few who will actually commit to do that.
Yeah.
And since we made it so easy, if we didn't make it easy, they'll go and they'll search the net to find me. But because we made it so easy, just reach out to Jody and he'll be like, hey, I'll put you in touch. It became easy. A lot of people will not do it. Yeah. When things are given to them easily, they will not do it. But if I said, listen, this is your chance. I'm taking 10 people at this price. And, you know, once this is over, you won't be able to get in touch with me. You'll get 20 people.
Yeah.
Right. So, and just look at your own family life. What your parents did for you, you feel like they did nothing for you. Man, they sacrificed their entire life for you to give you everything. So for today, if I am something, it is because of my family. You know, the chances that I've taken in life, most people, I'd say less than 1% of the world will take those chances and take those losses and still come back and still be driven because I know that I have this support system behind me. Like, you know, they say you need one best friend who has your back and you can take on just about anybody. Well, I have 4 or 5 brothers. I don't need one best friend. And I thankfully have a lot of good friends that I, you know, throughout the life, I call them my angels, my guardian angels. You know, whether it's just a conversation or advice or anything. As far as just sending a message, even if it's been like 5 years, 10 years, you haven't spoken to somebody, but you know that person is still there. Nothing has changed. It's like you go back in time, you know, back to the future pretty much. So I'm one of those lucky people that I still have my high school friends that I'm still the same person to them that was then and as now. It doesn't really matter. When I go, like when I visit Canada and I sit with my friends, absolutely nothing has changed. Some of them are doing really well. Some of them are doing okay. Some of them just scraping by, but they're the same old people for me, and I'm the same person for them.
mm,
Absolutely nothing has changed, right?
mm,
So that's a blessing to itself.
mm. I hear you.
Yeah, we can get
Support.
into health and
Yeah,
fitness that you want to ask, no problem.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that kind of sense of support,
Yeah,
having your back, I feel like that's key and I in my own kind of journey and work and everything, I see that I note that when we don't feel supported, when we're not supported, um, or we haven't been supported, it's doubly hard because it's like there's a trauma that develops of being alone, being separate, feeling abandoned, and all of that kind of thing, and that can take a lot of work to get through.
yeah,
Um, and those who do, I tend to find that those who do that work, and get through the feeling of not being supported, being abandoned, everything else, they actually, really do make it because they've found their inner resource, their inner wealth, and then they reach out to people and ask for the support, right?
absolutely.
Right. And so, like you coming on my show and you saying, hey, you can just reach out to me and give me that support. Those people who haven't, my experience, and I could be wrong, is that those people who haven't done that inner work, and don't feel like there's that support will disbelieve that it's possible,
Yeah.
and there will be a second guessing that goes on, and they'll come up with some reason or some excuse potentially, why it won't work out for them if they reach out to you. So it's like it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, people have been lied to over and over, right? So there's a thing when you say, reach out to me, I'll help you. There's usually something attached to it,
Yeah,
right? There's
totally.
some sort of money attached to it, and people are like, what? I thought this guy was going to help me. And he already knows my situation, that I don't have anything, and yet he's still trying to pull money out of me. There are times where you must invest, because if you're not willing to invest in yourself, nobody's going to invest in you. But then there are some people genuinely who can, like the offer that I made, I don't think it could be better than this, is I'll help you get there. You don't need to pay me. I'll help you get there. But then I take equity in your business, right? So if you're still not willing to do so, then there's nothing I can provide for you, because um, there's nothing in it.
Mm,
You're one of those people who's just willing to take but
mm,
not give. Like, my time, my effort, and my work should be valued
mm,
in one way or another.
mm.
It should be appreciated, or at least it should be paid forward. And if you're not even willing to share it with me, how are you going to pay it forward to somebody else
Exactly.
that you don't even know? If somebody who's helped you, you're not willing to, share with them. There's no way you're going to go and help somebody who's never done anything for you.
Mm,
So that's what people are actually afraid is, okay, um, I don't want to take this course because I don't want to lose. So I'm telling you, don't take just a course that's it's a cookie cutter for everybody. And I'll go back to the fitness thing because I have a lot of experience in fitness. Over a decade of experience in fitness is, um, if I have a diet plan for you, that same diet plan is not going to work for somebody else,
mm.
because we're built differently,
Totally.
right? We need to see, what are you allergic to, right? If I say eat chicken and you hate chicken, or you're just allergic to chicken, you're not going to eat chicken, right? Or you live in certain part of the world where that's not your main dish. So you need to work with people on what is available for them, around them, and then what can their bodies handle by their weight, their height, their background, their medical conditions. Like, there's so many factors, and that's how business is when somebody comes to me with a brand new idea and they think that I'm looking at them because of their amazing idea. I'm not, because so many people have amazing ideas. I'm looking at that person before I invest in them. I'm looking at that person. Do they have what it takes to to drive this vehicle that we're about to, put fuel into, right? They have a structure of a vehicle, but they don't have an engine and they don't have a fuel tank, and they don't have money to put fuel into that tank. So if I'm going to do that, can that person handle the speed of this venture? Do they have any driving experience? How do they drive on the left side or the right side? So I'm looking at the person behind the venture rather than the venture itself. So when we, as venture capitalists, when we invest in somebody, we invest in that person rather than just the idea. Do they have a good team? Do they know how to, do they know the alphabet of the business? They don't have to know everything, because obviously they're coming to us for expertise, not just money, but overall knowledge to help them grow. But we still need to see where they're standing before we waste our time and money. But having said that, still, there are many times that we invest in something that goes nowhere. But that's part of life. That's just part of life. Even like relationship, just because you had a bad relationship with somebody doesn't mean you're not going to meet new people. You're not going to start another relationship.
Okay. Great points. Okay, so let's segue through to the first wealth, health.
Yes.
What are your views on health and well-being?
Like I mentioned, I believe it's probably one of the top of my list in values, after me being my religious beliefs. It's health, and even my religion tells me that health is important. It's a gift. It's not a gift. It's a loan. We call it imanat, meaning you're holding for somebody. God has given you this body to take care of. Okay, you're not born with any diseases. We get these diseases from, well, you're born with it if your parents caught those things and they didn't take care of their bodies. But we poison our bodies with things that we think are healthy just because we heard about it, they're healthy. And we never take care of ourselves. We'll do it tomorrow. I'll get up in the morning and I'll go for a walk, or I'll go for a jog. We keep putting it off, and then you gain a little bit of weight over the holidays, and that little bit of weight keeps adding up more and more and more, to where it becomes, you're like, you know what? I'll buy a larger size t-shirt to hide my love handles, to hide my sides. And those largest, you go from small, medium, large, extra large, double large, triple large, and that's how you keep growing until you realize, and believe me, it's never, ever, ever too late. I don't care if you're 400, 500 pounds. It's never, ever too late. You can always make a difference. Yes, it's going to take you longer. Yes, it's harder, but you can always make a difference. Make a small change. Here's the secret. The bigger you are, the faster you're going to lose weight, because your body's used to doing absolutely no exercises, just eating. So as soon as you make that small change, your fat will start to melt away. Like you can lose 30, 40 kgs in a month, just by walking. What? Really? Just by walking, because you're sitting on the couch doing nothing. So now think about it. Your body is carrying 400 pounds and you're walking. Of course, you're burning insane amount of calories. So as you come closer, it's gonna get harder and harder for you. When you drop down to single digits, so 9% body fat, it gets really, really hard to go lower. But less than 12% body fat is not healthy for you. You know, people love to go down to like really, really low percentage, but it's not healthy for you at all. Losing weight too fast, I think I might have lost you. Oh no, you're still there. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Losing weight too fast is actually dangerous for you, because when you lose weight too fast, you'll get loose skin. So a lot of people end up getting loose skin, and that ends up looking worse than you being fat, because then you need a surgery. You need to remove that fat. So if you have a proper plan, just like when companies get funded, they get more money than they ever thought imaginable. It lasts them like 6 months. They lose it. It's gone. right? They're worse than before. Or people who win the lottery, they're in worse situation than they were before they won the lottery. Same thing when it comes to health is, yes, you lost all this weight, but you look worse than you looked before because you got loose skin everywhere. So if you have a proper plan, proper diet plan, proper training plan, a mentor, a coach, somebody that's helping you, and you do it properly with proper diet, and your goal should be, I'm going to burn fat and gain muscle at the same time. So instead of just losing fat, you're trying to gain muscle. You're not going to have that much loose skin. Yes, it's going to take you a little bit longer. It's going to be harder, but you're going to have a nice, beautiful, strong body because you need resistance. And that's what makes you stronger. And when you switch to foods that help you burn calories rather than gain calories, so imagine eating and losing, because now you know how. It's a lot easier, a lot better. Right? So when I got into it, I was in pretty bad shape. But when I got into health and fitness, I didn't just quit there. I decided I wanted to now give that opportunity to anybody and everybody. So I created this company called Trainer, where you can, in the Middle East, you can get a trainer within the hour. Within the hour, anywhere in the Middle East, you can get a trainer, and they can fit anybody's needs because we have over 4,000 trainers on every walk of life. You need a fitness trainer, you need a golf trainer, you need a dog trainer, you need a horse trainer, you want to learn anything to do with training, we started providing people, because once you have energy, you feel good. And when you feel good, anything you put on, you look good. And then because you're feeling good, you're looking good, you're going to go out, you're going to network with people, you're going to meet people. And because your attitude is so positive, you're going to meet positive people. And your life is going to change. You're able to do a lot more. You can go for a walk with your kids. You can go to the park, which we've forgotten that there are parks still out there with your kids. You can make that happen. You can make it, well, I guess it is a adult challenge. You can make your wife happy. You can make your partner happy because you have the energy to do so. So health is abundance of wealth. That is the true wealth. That's your foundation of getting things done in life. Because if you don't have health, you can't go to work. You're on disability. You're doing trips in hospitals, waiting 12 to 16 hours in emergency areas. So life is just passing you by. So if you want to enjoy life, get healthy. Go ask for help. Go to your local gym. Most people don't go to the gym because they look at these machines and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to use this. Those of us who go to the gym, it's very simple for them. Oh, this machine does this, this dumbbell does this plate is for that, because we are used to it. But a new person, when they go in, a lot of people are actually afraid, oh, look, this guy's an expert. I'm a nobody. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to quit. Even though they bought a gym membership, they'll walk away. Oh, it's not for me. And an advice for those who know what they're doing, when they see a newcomer come in, reach out to them. You were a newcomer at one point. Reach out to them. Say, here, let me show you how to do this. Don't do deadlifts. You're gonna mess up your back. Do it the proper way. Even with people with years and years experience can do it the wrong way. So if you want to get there faster, work with somebody. That's my advice to you. Work with an expert. Try to get it for free. If you can't, pay them what they're worth.
Yeah, totally concur. Agree with that. I hadn't heard the what you said about the burning the fat and the building the muscle. Somehow I've never quite heard it in such a simple way before. So that there's a little penny that dropped there around that for me, which is
so experts, that's what they do. So like when you see movie actors getting ready for upcoming movie, that's what they're doing. They're building, because they don't want to lose the weight that they're at, but they want to look leaner, and they want to show more. Like what I did when I did my first transformation, I was 72 kilos, but 72 kilos of cartoonish looking person, fat belly, skin legs, skinny arms. So when I did, I did 30 days, because I put a timeline to everything I do, mostly 30 days. I try to do everything in 30 days. Any new venture, I try to do in 30 days. So this one, we did it in 24 days because I had to travel. So when I started, I was 72 kg. When I finished, I was 72 kg. My weight did not change, but that fat had turned into muscle. So imagine just everything loose coming in and being fit, your arms looking bigger, your face looking slimmer, your clothes not fitting anymore. You're still the same weight, but instead of an extra large, you're now medium. Right? You jump 2 sizes. You're looking for a new wardrobe, but the best thing is, at least for me, I was just walking around in my underwear in the house. I didn't want to put clothes on anymore because I had built a body that I loved. I went from wearing, always being covered to, oh, there's a mirror in the house, putting more mirrors in the house. So it's an amazing feeling, amazing feeling. And then obviously it's hard to maintain that unless you make it a lifestyle. If you don't make it a lifestyle, it'll sneak back up on you like this, right?
Habit.
So from there, then I got into trade shows. I started doing biggest trade shows in the world. Like I worked with the who's of the who of this industry. My first contract was with Arnold Classic, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's never heard of it. I am a promoter for Mr. Olympia, biggest name in this industry. I've done it in Dubai, I've done it in Pakistan, and all that started from just me. Okay, I need to go to the gym. To now, when I saw a change in me, I said, okay, I'm going to start competing. And I said, you know what, competing is not for me. I'd rather turn it into a business where I'm making money from it rather than competing, because I'll just be another competitor on the stage. Let me get all the competitors from around the world, find the best of the best, put up a good prize money, and learn from everybody. I'm learning from the top coaches in the world and getting paid. I mean, how good can it get?
Yeah.
Right. So I've got a bro anywhere in the world. I could go to any country pretty much in the world through my fitness industry, and I will know somebody anywhere in the world. Especially in my own home country, there's not a single gym where people would not know me, and we're 250 million people. Dubai, Pakistan, Spain, Canada, US, Europe, you name it, chances are I'll know somebody in the fitness industry if they're at some high level. Somebody just starting off, okay, I might not know them. But if they're in competitive field, if they're competing, they know me, or I know them. It's just that simple. It's a community where it's a big community. It's a $67 trillion community when it comes to supplements. It's a massive community, but we all know each other. I know the top brands, I know the top athletes because I get involved with them. I create opportunities for them to compete. So that's why we're all connected, because I add value to them, they add value to me. They win prize money, I make overall money. So it's a good life.
Sounds great. Sounds very blessed.
Let's put it this way: I get paid to get training.
Sounds good. Yeah. Awesome. Interesting. I mean, there's so many threads there, but I want to move on a little bit to more just kind of like life experiences. And so what would you say was the craziest thing you've done?
Oh my God, there are so many crazy things I've done. I'd say one of the not craziest but stupidest things I had done was when I first had an offer on one of my companies for 75 million. I turned it down. And I actually ended up closing that company. That was one of the stupidest things I had done. And that wasn't because I wanted to close that company. It was a situation I can't really openly talk about because the people that are involved in it afterwards legally, I can't talk about it. But had I exited at that time, 75 million was not just the money was good, but the person that made the offer was one of the biggest names in the world, even right now. And one of the top people in the world that people know as being wealthy and successful. They reached out to me and made that offer. And because I was making money so fast, $250,000 my first weekend, 18 million in 6 months, I'm like, why would I sell for 75 millions when I'm on my way to, universe? So sometimes we don't see the mistakes that we're making. Had I consulted with somebody at that time, things would have been different. Like went to a coach, went to somebody and say, hey, what do you think? But I was at a point in my life coming from no money to a lot of money, not understanding a lot of things that are involved in business. So those mistakes were made. So, and the other mistakes that I'm making, because making money became easy for me, managing money was something that I didn't know. I keep making, but I keep spending on things I didn't even know, or investing in things I didn't understand. I think those are the biggest mistakes that I made in my life, the stupid mistakes. And then there are obviously other mistakes that we can't really talk about, relationship type of things, but we all go through those.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one because I kind of boil what you've shared. It kind of relates to something that I've been kind of ruminating on for the last 15 years, which is a business mentor told me, which he kept on repeating, which was what you don't know costs you money.
Absolutely. That's why I paid 15 for 15 minutes. I paid 100 grand.
Yeah. That's it. That's the principle. Okay. Have you ever had a mystical experience?
Give me an example.
You're praying or you're meditating, or maybe you're in the shower or you're making love and things shift, or there's, you see lights or feel some ecstasy or something.
Twice. Once, I remember this was it was a morning prayer. I was on the beach in Barbados and I'm praying on the sand. And it was out of this world when I was praying. It was like this feeling that, when you get the feeling of connection. I've never had it before. And that was the first time I felt that connection. And second time was I was in Washington, D.C. Again, this is Friday prayer. I went to the mosque and it was packed. There was no room. And even outside, we were praying outside on the lawn. It was a pretty big mosque, but still, we got over 2,000 people. So I'm praying outside, sunny day, praying outside, and all of a sudden it starts to drizzle, just a little bit of drizzle. And again, that same connection happened where I forgot where I am, where anything existed. It was just, I've had it twice, and it's kind of hard to explain to an average person, or even somebody who's had that experience. They can probably relate to you. But as soon as I finished praying, it started to pour. But while I was praying, it was just that little drizzle. It felt so amazing. It started to pour when I finished, and we just ran to the cars. And there was another time when I had an experience of 2007 in Saudi Arabia. I was gone for pilgrimage. And any Muslim that's watching this, they'll tell you that this is one feeling, you can't put it into words. Any Muslim, if a Muslim person is watching this, they'll agree with me if they've been to the same place. When you first lay your eyes on the mosque, the big grand mosque, the Kaaba in Mecca, it is a feeling that you simply cannot describe. It's out of this world. And I don't have the words to describe it to you. The only way somebody can share that with me is if they've been there. And when I speak to somebody who's been there, they'll tell you a million times I agree with you. Exactly same feeling. You don't you can't really comprehend the look. I am where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be here, and I'm meant to see this. And actually, the way they actually tell you, don't look up when you're walking until you get there. And when you look up, when you get there, and you look up, and it's a whole new world opens up for you. It's like I said, it's beyond words. I couldn't explain it. But trust me, if there are Muslims watching this, you will see the comments, and those comments that they're giving you, they won't be able to explain it, but they'll try to explain it. It's just amazing.
So would you attribute that to your connection to, source consciousness, to that aspect of your religion, which is the Kaaba being kind of like representational, or would you say it's something literally that the Kaaba is like there's like a vacuum or something?
Yes.
It's like a 0 point or something. I'm
Yeah,
curious.
even if you don't look at it religiously, you look at it scientifically, it is the center of the world. When we're doing tawaf, which is a circle around Kaaba, it is actually kinetic energy that connects, that actually moves the world. Scientists have gone as far as saying if Muslims stop doing tawaf, you'll see change in life on Earth.
Interesting.
During COVID, when it actually stopped, you saw a massive change on Earth. Massive change. So it's one of the things that actually keeps the Earth spinning in a proper way. It's magnetically, and scientifically, it's proven, and it's one of the only places that you can see from satellite without needing any equipment. And it's lit up day and night, lit up. Obviously, one of the things is the white marble, but at nighttime it's still lit up. Daytime it's still lit up. It's energy that's going up. I don't even think you have to be spiritual to actually understand it. You will understand it once you do just a little bit of research on it. It's just amazing. And it's the first house, as we believe, first house of God built by, Abraham and his wife, way back. So when you come into religion, and today in this day and age, we fight that, oh, he's Muslim, he's Christian, he's Jewish. Only if they realize that we are all the same. We come from the same branch, same tree, exact same beliefs. But, we don't. We tend to say one is better than the other. And that's where I think the world has gone into chaos, because people thinking one is better than the other, or people not respecting other people's beliefs. Like Quran teaches, like a lot of Muslims, there's like over 2 billion of us, but a lot of them, we don't understand our religion. Yes, we're born into it, but we don't really understand it. Number one thing is Quran teaches you to respect others and their beliefs and their scriptures. Do we do that? No. Christianity, same thing. Same thing taught in there. Do we do that? No. Judaism, same thing. Do we do that? No. I mean, if I get into religion, it'll be like a very long episode.
Very long conversation, yeah.
So, but simple way for me to explain it is learn to respect other people and their beliefs. They'll do the same thing for you. Not like if I want somebody to be like me, it's not going to happen through my book, because they never read the book. People read me, right? They say, oh, he's a Muslim. They read me. They're going to look at my behavior, the way my walk of life is, my lifestyle, my dealing with people, speaking with people. That's what they're looking at.
Mm.
If that's not presented properly, then obviously I'm the one putting a bad image.
Mm.
My, I believe my religion is perfect. I'm not,
Mm.
right? Most of us are not perfect, but the message is perfect. Right? If
Mm.
we stuck to the original message, then none of us would fight.
Mm.
None of us. And the world would be populated, overpopulated.
Yeah, well, yeah. Um, so would you say then that you've got the teaching, you've got the original transmission, let's say,
Yeah,
and then you've got some kind of distortion?
absolutely. Lots of distortion. Yeah.
Yeah. And therefore, what we have, in actuality is imbalanced because of distortion. So the question is, how to make that balance, make that harmony? Um, you know, my my solution, I don't know what yours would be.
Yeah,
Um, Mine would be that everyone gets to have their own direct experience of truth, source consciousness, whatever you want to
absolutely.
describe it.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, it's so imprinted in the nervous system. It's so imprinted. It's like, oh, yeah, this is what this is all about. This is what I go back to when I die. This is, or whatever, however you want to, frame it, whatever. Like, this is the kind of the essence. So if I can keep having that close relationship and direct, unfiltered experience as much as possible, then can I then live by it and practice it, these values and these teaching, etc. So how then the question is how to do that? Well, I would say it's practice, right? You reacquaint yourself on a daily basis. We reacquaint ourselves, whether that's praying, meditating, or whatever it is, like on a daily basis. What would you say?
So I will actually simplify it for you, and I agree with what you're saying along the same lines. Is if we go back to Prophet Abraham, where the branches came out of, what did he do? What he did was he went what we call a sujood, like he went to put his head on the ground. We pray the same way Jesus prayed, and Muslims pray the same way. And he put his head on the ground and he asked, because when he looked at the sun, he thought, okay, that's the sun, and it disappeared. It can't be the sun, it disappeared. He looked at the moon, it disappeared. So that can't be God because it disappears. So he was searching for higher power. He knew there was higher power. So when he put his head on the ground and he prayed and he said, oh God, give me a sign. If you're out there, give me a sign that there's one true God. And I would give everybody the same advice. Whatever your background is, whatever your religion is, whatever your belief is, even if you believe that there's no God, go ahead and try, put your head on the ground because that's the most vulnerable position.
Mm,
Anything can happen to you. You're closed off the world,
mm,
and you ask and say, "Look, I want you to guide me, whatever the truth is.
mm,
Muslims are right, Christians are right, Judaism, whoever's right. I want you to guide me because I want you to tell me what's right.
mm,
Leave it at that and see what you come up with. Because if you ask any religious person, if you ask a Muslim, and they'll say only Muslims will go to heaven. If you ask a Christian, they'll say only Christians will go to heaven. And if you ask Jewish people, they'll say only Jewish will go to heaven and everybody else will go to hell. That is not true. Okay, I'm probably the first Muslim saying that. A lot of comments are going to come in now. That is not true. And for my people, Muslim people, I would say read the Quran and see what the Quran says about that statement that only Muslims will go to heaven and non-Muslims will not. That's not what the Quran says. And let anybody, these so-called YouTube scholars, let them come and argue with me because you cannot argue with what's written in the Quran. If it's written in the Quran, which hasn't been changed since day one, you cannot argue with it. Not even a single mistake is in there I don't care if you pick up the world's oldest one, and they have those in Medina, or the one that's printed right now. Okay, there's no difference. I even actually on my website, arifmirza.com/listen or /Quran, I translated the Quran into many different languages for people to understand it easily, right? Because most of us Muslims don't understand the Quran because we only read the Arabic. All of us can read Arabic, by the way, all of us. Do we understand it? No. Most of us don't. Kids, youngest kid is, I believe 3 years old, who knows the entire Quran by heart, 3 years old. Most kids don't even know ABC or nursery rhymes at that age, or they don't even speak properly. Yet, kids can memorize it. This book is very easy to memorize. It's a promise. It's a promise from Allah that I will make it easy for you to understand. But we don't know the meaning of it. So unless you know the meaning of it, it's translated in your language, and I believe I've translated into over 20 different languages. So whatever your language may be, it's there. Now, is it the exact same message as it would be in Arabic? No, because Arabic is very, very, like one little change can change the whole meaning. But to the best of translation, we've done that. So Irish people, Muslims, non-Muslim, go take a look. Just read the first chapter, which is only 7 verses. Only 7 verses. That's it. You don't need to go further. But trust me, you read those 7 verses, you're diving into an ocean. And you'll be like, really? I want to learn more. I want to learn. And it's a book that teaches, it's not just for Muslims. It was never sent to just for Muslims. It's sent for entire mankind. We like to say it's our book brought by our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The difference between him and other prophets is he is the last messenger. We believe in every single prophet that ever came, every single one of them. Some religions believe in one or the other. We believe in all of them. And there's stories in the Quran about all of them. So there's stories about Jesus and his mom, Maryam. A lot of people, some religions don't believe there was a Maryam, and some talk nonsense about Jesus. Whatever, that's their opinion. It's not going to change anything. But all those stories of where they came from, how they lived, are in that book. You can look at it as a book of stories or book of life. And if you want to look at it from scientific way, how did a person born in desert, no education, can tell you about the human embryo, how it starts? Okay, science just found out now. At what point is soul put into your body? At what point does it start to develop? Right down to the days it takes.
Interesting.
Okay. Right? And it can tell you about the seas meeting and not mixing. I'm sure you heard of that, where there's salt water and sweet water. There's a line between them, okay, but they don't mix. It's actually quite famous tourist attraction now. People go in, they watch. You can see it on the net. Another thing about pyramids, people ask who made them, where they came from. It's in the Quran. 1400 years ago, it's mentioned in the Quran. Who built them? Why they built them? What was the reason? Everything is there. Everything is there, and people want to know these answers. Anything you want to know the answers to. Okay, what is out there beyond Earth? You'll find answers in that book.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Didn't know that it was that. There was those things were referenced.
And when you read it, it doesn't matter. Open it up anywhere. Anywhere, just open it up. It will speak to you. It's like you were meant to open that page. It'll speak to what's going on with you. What else? The Great Flood of Noah, right? It tells you everything about it, how it started, what animals were on that, and what the reason for that animal was. Where did it land? How did you think they found it? They found it in Turkey. So all these things, how would a person living in the desert tell you about the stars, the next countries, the universe, the scientific facts. Oh, another one, fly. Okay, normal fly. Did you know that if a fly lands in your drink, what do? You throw out the drink, right?
Mm.
If you were to take that fly and dip it in the drink and throw it out, there's no disease in that drink because on the wings of the fly, on one wing it carries the disease and the other one it carries the antidote. Okay, it neutralizes it. Tell me a person living in the desert 1400 years ago can tell you that. Cannot.
Mm.
Can he tell you about the stars and other planets? Cannot.
Mm.
If he can't read and write, do you think those are his words coming? No. So, and he's the one who tells you respect other religions, respect the scriptures that came before you. Do not think you're better than somebody else. A black person is not better than a white person. An Arab is not better than non-Arab person. When we pray, it doesn't matter who is leading. Right? It could be a janitor of your organization leading the prayer and the CEOs in the back. Or it could be anybody who has better knowledge to lead, that's the person who should be leading. That's so simple.
That's very wise.
Yeah, but we complicate things.
Yeah. There's one thing I wanted to just share about respect, the word, in the English language that I discovered whilst I was at drama school, actually, is that the meaning behind the word respect, which, I love to sort of decipher and decode language and sayings. So respect is made up of re and spect. So re is again, to do something again, and spect is see or look. So you could say that it means like look again.
Yeah.
You could also say it's like, well, what happens when you look again? It's like what we kind of really start to look, like we really start to see. We start to learn by looking. We start to revere. We start to open. And
Makes
so
sense.
this idea of respect is, that the word is kind of condensed as a kind of thought point of like, oh yeah, you need to let others live, let others be how they are. And so this kind of sense of like looking again is like really seeing others for who they are.
Yeah.
And giving them space and like as equals ultimately.
Absolutely. Now it makes sense because you broke it down. A lot of people would not do that, right? So
Yeah, it's I love to do that with words. There's a lot of information in the language any language if we look at it, and we for time and efficiency we kind of make things, break things down into sort of smaller bits so we can just sort of say, can you give me that coffee, please? Because we want that coffee, right? But if we, it's like because of that, we take it kind of for granted, and it's just like, yeah, a means to an end. But if we start to really look at why we say that, why the words we have are the way they are, we get to see a whole new level of meaning to everything, and I find that fascinating. So
it is fascinating. Until we look into things, we're not going to understand them.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, in the Quran, even diet is mentioned in the Quran.
Oh, really? Yeah.
What's proper diet for a human being to have? Like how much to eat, how much water to drink, and how much empty space to leave.
Interesting. Yeah.
We don't leave empty space. We're like, let me fill this up, let me fill that up.
Yeah.
But you need to leave room for air. So
sensible, very sensible. Wow. Okay. So this has been a great conversation. We're kind of at the end now, and I'm just wondering, yeah, anything final you'd like to share? Any final sort of?
yes, I would like to share. And it goes back to your very first question, is destination.
Mm.
Right? We need to have clarity on where we're going, what we want in order to get there.
Mm.
And most of us don't have that. Once we have the clarity of what, because we want to do everything, right? There's not enough time in the world for us to do everything. No, we want to be CEOs of this company, that company, that company, this company. So if we can narrow down, everybody has a skill set that they are better than anybody else. So finding yourself, your true self, it'll take time. It could take lifetime to find out who you truly, what your strengths are. But your destination is the most important thing. What do I want? So if you can answer that question, what do I want? Then you'll get to the second question. How do I get it? Right. And then third would be options will open up. You get it like this. But number one is, what do I want? Where am I going? So if we can figure that out, you'll see a huge change in your life, in your vision. So a lot of people call me the visionary on my website, is because you need to visualize things for them to happen. Right. So that's my message to your viewers, is figure out what you want, and then we'll get to how to get it. And what are our options? What tools do we have? Do we need to buy tools, or do we already have them? Right. Or do we need to rent them? Right. So
Okay, brilliant. And what would you say would be your number one recommendation or tool for getting clarity?
look, what happened to me was I had, like I said, I'm connected with my family big time. So I spoke to my mom, and I said, Mom, growing up, what was I good at? What set me apart from other siblings? I have a lot of siblings. What set me apart from them? Because I'm a middle child. I got two older brothers, two younger brothers. So I learned from all of them. Because growing up, it was like I was never old enough to do something, and I was too young to do something. So I was kept away from everything. So my mother and my brother that's older than me, second, they know me more than anybody else, and my wife obviously knows me because we've been together 30 years now. So people that are around me, I go to them and say, what is my strength? I think I know my strength, but they can see around me what my mistakes are, or my strengths are, how I've been behaving all my life, and something always obviously sticks out. So I talk to people and ask them, help me, what do you think I would be good at? What do you think I do better than others? So they tell me that since the beginning, my mother can tell me when I was a kid, I acted like this. My brother can tell me, look, since I can remember, because we spent most of our life together, even though I lived everywhere else, he can tell me in the last 30 years, my time spent with my wife, we met in high school as kids and, just stayed together. They can pinpoint and tell me what kind of person I am, what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. The world might see me differently. Oh, here's this guy, he's good at this, he's good at that, he's terrible at this. But people that are around me for that long, they can tell me exactly what my strengths and weaknesses are. So find people around you that can actually point that out to you. You might think that you're doing something right, but you might not be, because people, like when you're in a business and you're making mistakes, you don't see those mistakes. When you bring in a coach and he sees, okay, he just spends a day with you, doesn't say a word, just watches what you do. Says, wait a minute, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. Like when I hired my first coach when I was working out, I lifted two dumbbells to show him what I was going to do. He told me put them down right away. I had just lifted them, and he told me put me down. I put them down. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I didn't even do anything. He goes, yeah, the way you lifted them, the way you're standing is wrong. You're going to injure yourself. That's the difference of somebody who knows, is an expert in that field. So your family, they know you. They're expert in that field because they help raise you. They know your potentials, right? So Ask people that are around you. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be surprised by the answers that you get. Don't take it to the heart, because if you
Mm,
want the truth and somebody's giving the truth, be prepared to take it.
mm.
Don't say, "Oh, you think all you like you thought of me like this." Slow down. Break respect into two parts: raw and spect. Slow down and listen to what they're saying, and maybe it'll make sense to you. Find yourself is the most important thing. You find yourself, then you find that direction.
Beautiful.
I hope it makes sense.
I'm all about it. I'm absolutely all about this. So yeah, totally concur.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that you have, all your wisdom and knowledge and experience. Um, Perhaps we could go deeper on another conversation in the
absolutely.
future. Absolutely. Um, and your website is
arifmirza.com.
so it's
Yeah.
ArifMizra.com.
Mirza.
Ah, sorry, yes, Mirza.com. So
No,
ArifMizra. Mizra. Yeah, okay.
ARIFMIRZA.com.
Okay.
You're saying the Z before the R.
That one. Sorry.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
Yeah,
I'll send
Mirza. Okay, got it. Great. So thank you again for coming on. Thank you for, yes, generously sharing all
Thank you for having
this
me.
wisdom. Yeah, appreciate you.
Hopefully people will get some value out of this and it'll change their lives.
Yeah. And so people can also see on your website some info about you. What else can they?
Absolutely. There's tons of stuff. And I have my links to all my social media. So my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, all that is there. Um, I think my LinkedIn even has my WhatsApp.
Cool.
So I make it very easy for people to reach out. And I try my best to reply to everybody I possibly can.
Yeah.
And
So,
you can imagine the incoming.
yeah,
Um, but it is what it is.
it is. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and bye for now.
Take care.